The breath, video 7. When people talk about pranayama, they often talk about it in regards to breathing exercises. But what's the meaning of the word pranayama? Prana translates to mean life force. It's the vital energy which gives rise to all of manifested reality and is responsible for the sustaining of all manifested reality. So prana is life force, and ayama means to extend. Ayama, to extend. So then pranayama is the extension of that life force within the body system. So in order to be able to allow for the free flow of prana within the mind-body system, we can carry out different breathing exercises to help to regulate the flow of this current. Now Patanjali, in the 8 limbs of yoga, which he outlines in his yogasutras, describes pranayama as the 4th limb. But Patanjali doesn't go to great lengths to outline a whole variety of different breathing exercises. He keeps it quite simple. For Patanjali, pranayama is regulating the breath so as to allow for the free flow of prana. And we can do this simply by becoming aware of the breathing process. Now, for us, the breathing process consists of inhalation and exhalation. But it also consists of transition. There's a transition which naturally occurs between each inhalation and exhalation, and again after each exhalation and before the inhalation. So Patanjali advises us to simply become aware of this process. As we're seated in our meditative posture, we can just pay attention to the flow of breath. Each inhalation, the short transition, the exhalation, and then the short transition. Initially, we'll be aware of this process at a gross level, where our concentration will be focused on the breathing process at a more superficial level. But as we continue with the practice, and as our body becomes more relaxed, then our breathing will slow down and become more refined and more subtle. And as a consequence then, our concentration and our awareness will have to become more refined and more subtle so as to be able to stay attentive to the process. And then as our concentration becomes more subtle, in turn our breathing will become more subtle. And so this is a loop where our breathing becomes more refined and more subtle, so too does our concentration and awareness become more refined and more subtle. Ultimately leading us to a point of very deep concentration, where our attention is withdrawn from all externals and internalized, bringing us to the 5th limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, pratyahara, the internalization of attention. The system of Hatha Yoga and the system of Ayurveda, among others, have gone to great lengths to develop a variety of different breathing exercises so as to regulate the flow of prana within the body-mind system. Hatha Yoga has done so as a means to be able to purify the body-mind system to allow for the free flow of prana so as to move into that state of internalization and deep concentration outlined by Patanjali. Ayurveda has used the science of breathing as a means to regulate the prana, but also to channel it and direct it to different parts of the body or parts of our being so as to facilitate our overall well-being. And in this way, to allow for our capacity to process higher states of concentration.